we're going to do this show as if we are.
Okay.
Welcome to CNA Weekend Recap. Justin, Josh, Ken is doing the family stuff back home, so we wish him well.
Yeah.
It has been a while since we've done a show, and we were feeling like we were missing it. So we really wanted to get on. We didn't get to do one a couple of weeks ago when Guardians of the Galaxy released.
So that's mostly what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes, and if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy by now, then you really do deserve the spoilers we're going to give you.
Yeah, there's no spoiler warning. It's been weeks, y'all. Just go.
What's wrong with you? I know, and a lot of people are going to say, well, Marvel's kind of sucked lately. And there's been some Phase 4 that wasn't great.
There has been, yes.
Phase 4 has its high point with this movie.
I agree, 100%. It's classic Guardians, and I think it's better than classic Guardians.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is one of, if not my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe property. Love it. I loved it from the moment I saw it, and it's every time I watch it, I love it. I love the characters. I love Gunn. I love the element that it threw in. This was the introduction to the cosmic universe. Loved it. 2 wasn't as good as 1, but it was still really good.
Yeah.
I put this one right up there with number 1.
Yeah. And Guardians of the Galaxy was the first Marvel movie that was supposed to fail. Everybody was talking about that. I mean, that's the big thing. It was like, this is Marvel's going to be their first failure.
And the funny thing they said back then was no one is going to care about a talking raccoon.
Exactly.
And boy, this movie proves just how wrong they were, because Rocket Raccoon and his little animal buddies ripped the hearts out of America.
Oh my God, yes. This movie was all about Rocket, about his creation, and damn, it hurt every time they went to those flashbacks. And I knew what was coming, and it still never hurt less.
It stung. What this movie had was everything Guardians of the Galaxy 1 had, plus a mile of heart.
Yes.
Just unexpected levels of just heart and sincerity. I thought best performance by Peter Quill.
Yeah, 100%.
Chris Pratt. Best performance by Chris Pratt in the 5 times he showed up on screen.
Well, I think it's because they've given them 2 movies, a holiday epic. These are characters we now identify with who have come a long way.
Yeah. And,
these are characters that the connections to them are so important. I mean, we see real love between them. That Quill has seen Gamora die, come back, but not his Gamora. And he is just at a loss.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know what to do, and he's just become a fucking drunk. And Nebula hates that because she never wanted to be the leader, and that's what she's taken on for herself, is the leader of the Guardians. And it does break your heart to see these characters, when so many people are on their backs. I mean, nowhere. They turned it into a colony for people like them that have been lost, that have nowhere else to go, that they can go there and know that they're safe. And I do really love that. We, as you put it, when I asked you about the movie, he watched it before me. Cosmo the dog steals every scene she's in.
100%. They turned Cosmo into this hilarious little Russian girl, and every time she speaks, she's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
And the whole thing set up through the whole movie with her and Kraglin.
Do not call me bad girl. I'm good girl.
You're bad dog. Good girl.
Wow. So good.
Everyone has a moment in the movie, from Kraglin to Star-Lord to Drax. I know we're jumping around, but my favorite moment for Drax is the end of the movie. They're back on Nowhere. They're celebrating. Rocket gets out and starts dancing. They put on the 2000s. We get Florence and the Machine.
Yeah.
And you get Groot and Rocket dancing. And then Gamora or Nebula comes out and starts dancing. and then just, I mean, tears well up.
Yeah.
Freaking out there with his new children.
Yes.
Drax, the man who does not dance, because dancing is for morons.
Yes.
Just starts
breaking
breaking it down.
And I think that was wonderful. There were a lot of good moments for Drax in this movie. The fact that there's an entire race of children and no one understands their language. And then Drax just starts talking and they just ask him, "You speak their language?" And he says, "Yeah." No one ever asked me. Because he's the idiot. I mean, that's the point, you know? It's just so good.
Absolutely. It's hard to talk about everything. It would be for hours. Every character gets a great arc. Peter's arc, I want to talk about a little bit because he's heartbroken. The moment where he has to talk quietly and privately with Gamora, he thinks he's selected that. That whole scene was great.
It was.
He bears his soul to her, and only to find out the whole team's listening.
Yeah.
It was the heart mixed in with that classic Guardians gun humor.
It was. I mean, this film was 100% gun. Like, it is his, I think, farewell message to Marvel. You know, and he did it perfectly. It just, everything about it, just, they nailed every moment. I think that's what's most important.
After I said it, I remember saying there wasn't anything I would want removed from that movie. It was perfectly edited. Yeah, it really was. And I mean, even till the end, and we haven't even started to talk about Adam Warlock, for God's sake. You know, and I was about to say, let's talk about maybe the greatest villain in the MCU.
Yeah, the High Evolutionary. And that has always been one of the complaints, is the villains in the MCU. And man, they
elicited hate from everyone. He was strong. I think he was fleshed out well enough. Mm-hmm. He got plenty of screen time.
Oh yeah,
this dude killed it.
He did.
In fact, I would be okay if they just make him
the next big bad.
Yeah, hell, make him a Kang variant.
I'd be fine with that too.
We can just roll the old man right out the door, because this man
roll the old chariot along.
Brought the evil.
He did. And I mean, they gave him background. They gave him structure. They gave him a story where you were like, okay, I understand this character as a villain. He's still a douchebag, but I get what he's doing.
And he was, you know, he was God. He was God. He was trying to play God, and it just.
It was so good. I mean, his lines, the actor that played him, you know, it was just so perfect. It was just, this was one time where Marvel knocked it out of the park with their villains.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's go back to what you said, Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock.
Toddler.
Yes.
The newborn.
We were kind of expecting a more nuanced Adam Warlock, or at least I was.
I was not.
You were not? Okay.
This is the James Gunn movie. I expected him to be kind of silly and
yeah, and so he is basically just like Space Superman from the species that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And yeah, that's pretty much it. He doesn't know what's going on.
He has some kind of gem in his forehead that we assume powers him.
Yeah.
We don't know much about it.
Nope. I think maybe it's one of the batteries for this planet. I don't know. We don't get a lot of we don't get a lot out of him, but he, like I said, I expected more, but he's a good character. And
he's a Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he ends up being one of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And, you know, it's that kind of note that this team will meet villains and quickly convince them to join their side, because, you know, that's what they do.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Can't be mad about that.
Either that or they, you know, beat you with a dance-off to the death.
Still one of the best endings ever. I'm sorry, it is.
I love the moment in Infinity War. He's like, tell him about the dance-off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, about the dance-off? Fucking Footloose?
Yes. Like the greatest film in the world.
Is it still the greatest movie ever? No, it never was. We have digressed.
Yes, that's how we do.
Anyway,
we can talk about the ending, though, yes, because it's been so long.
Yeah.
We see the disillusion, technically, of the Guardians of the Galaxy, where each character is going their own way. And I think that was a nice ending for a trilogy. You know?
Yeah, they kind of made us think for the last year we were going to see Guardians die in this movie.
We did, yes,
So,
100%.
Freaking fingers digging into my knees the whole movie.
Yeah.
Every time someone seems fatally wounded, like, this is it! There goes Drax!
Every time they went down and cut away, I was like, that's the moment! Yeah, no.
We don't lose any Guardians.
Thank God.
Everyone goes on their way.
But we do see them take their own time. Peter in this movie realizes that he's never returned to Earth, or Terra as he calls it. And it's lovely. He leaves the leadership of the Guardians and goes back to see his grandfather.
And starts a lawn care company.
Yeah. Which is weird as shit. But I do love that, it was such a nice moment. His grandfather recognized him on site, welcomed him to his home. And so Peter is back on Earth now. We don't know what his future is, but we are assured that there will be more Star-Lord to come. Mantis went her own way because she doesn't know her path.
Riding those battery-eating monsters.
Yes. She was under Ego's thumb for so long that she needed to find herself without anyone. Nebula stayed on Nowhere to rebuild this society and asked Drax to be with her because, she needs a strong right hand.
Yeah.
And that's what Drax is good at, honestly, is being the right hand to anybody he can work with.
Sure.
Yeah. And, Gamora, the new Gamora went back to the Ravagers. Yeah.
They seem to love her.
Exactly. We got to see Sylvester Stallone and all the Ravagers we saw before. They're still out there doing their thing, robbing and ripping and whatnot.
So, at the end, when we see the new team, Groot is huge.
Yes, Groot
is the size of a boulder.
Groot is boss leveled up at this point.
Yeah, apparently when you take the death twig of a dead Groot and grow a new Groot, you grow a super Groot.
Well, we joked about it where he was like yoked up teenage Groot.
Yeah.
Massive shoulders, but now he's just
Hulk Groot.
Yes. I don't think Groot has like an upper power limit.
You won't like me when I bloom.
Yeah, exactly. Getting that tattooed on me, for God's sake. You won't like me when I bloom. Jesus. But yes. We see the new Guardians led by Rocket with Adam Warlock and Kraglin, who now can use the arrow. He's learned to. And
Phyla Bell, the new girl.
I don't know who she is. She's apparently in the comics.
Fairly new character.
Yeah, I have not read that much about her. Ken, get your ass over here.
They really just threw her in. We don't see her in the movie at all. She's just one of the kids that they rescued.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's like all of a sudden, glowy hands, here I am. I had to look her up after we left. I was like, who the hell was that?
Still have not looked her up. I don't know who she is yet. This is that moment when Ken needs to pop out from the back and be like, hey, so here's what's happening.
Whoopsie!
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of, Mortal Kombat's getting rebooted.
That story is freaking off the rails, so they're reeling it back to the beginning.
Yeah. So Mortal Kombat's getting the entire reboot from number 1. So if you got disoriented with the story mythos, well, just start anew. Here we go. And sorry, that is a completely thing we weren't going to talk about.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, 9 out of 10 for me. What would you give it?
I think 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
Yeah.
There you have it, folks.
It's one that I've watched several times.
You have? You've gone back to the theater and watched it?
Oh, no, I legally streamed it.
Oh.
Yeah, because I'm a criminal. What's up? That's what I do.
Okay.
It's not illegal if it's on the internet.
Back in the day when we used to do this show really regularly, we did a segment called What We're Into. Mm-hmm. And we're going to take a moment and talk about what we're both into, which happens to be another PS5 game. This time, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. If y'all have ever watched this show, you know I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and so is he. Mm-hmm. And we're also both really good gamers.
Hey, stop that grunt. I didn't like that. So, in everyone's journey as a gamer, there is going to be a blind spot in your powers of gaming. There are things. Shut the fuck up. There are things that sometimes just hit you in certain games you can't do.
In this game, everything hits in.
I will punch you in the face. Yes, this game, I love it. I love everything about it. I am fucking terrible at it, but I will not give up.
You gotta give him for his pluck.
This asshole
keeps trying.
Gave me the worst thing ever when he, and I quote, said, maybe just turn the difficulty level down. He's lucky I didn't take him off at the knees. For fuck's sake.
I mean,
no! We don't do that outside. It's an amazing game. It's so inventive. You can create your character. The design is wonderful. Everything. It's just, for whatever reason, I fucking hate it.
The creators did a good job of listening to our complaints from the first one. They addressed a lot of the things we didn't like getting stuck in a temple and being lost for an hour because you can't get to the end. You can now fast travel between all the meditation points. That was a big one. You don't have to press a button to grab hold of a wall to wall climb. You just automatically grab. So they fixed some things. It's, the first one was pretty damn good. And this one is an improvement on it. It's fast. It's powerful. You feel the force and the power of being a Jedi. The combat's real smooth, fairly intuitive. Easy to pick up.
I just wrap it up. Come on.
Anyway, it's good.
It is a good game.
Good story. Cal Kestis really needs to come into live action. The actor, Moynihan, does a great job of bringing it to life.
Yeah.
They've created a great world. I'd love to see it intersect somehow with what we have, and it feels like they're working towards that in the plot. I haven't beat it yet. Actually, my game corrupted about halfway through, so I'm going to have to start over. But despite that, I still give the game a good review, and I can't wait to get back in and get caught up to where I was and get moving, because it does seem like they're building a loophole kind of story to explain where some of these Jedi might have been during the whole war.
Yeah. We get a lot of hints about Jedi that survived Order 66.
Yeah, and they're looking for a place that might be safe from the Empire to hide.
Yeah. So it's a good game. It just happens to be one of those that I am terrible at. And I think his failed because he made fun of me so much. But we're not going to talk about that. God cursed you. But anyway, so that pretty much is it for us this week. We've been gone a while, and so we're not trying to go way back and do things. It's always a good time to be a nerd. A lot of new stuff coming out. June is going to be a good month for us. We're going to see a lot of things.
Heck yeah, there's so much good stuff coming. Flash is just a few weeks away. Mm-hmm. Stephen King came out and said that Flash is the greatest superhero movie he's ever seen.
Which is... Okay, sorry, Stephen King makes my dick hard, but yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
For real.
Tom Cruise saw it the other day too. He demanded an in-house screening.
Wait, you get to do that when you're a star?
When you're Tom Cruise, you do.
Alright, yeah, I guess he got this Scientology people in his bag.
Well, he also had like $1.5 billion movie in his last outing.
Yeah, whatever. He's done that movie.
Yeah, okay.
What? You sit in a room and have a little stick.
He was actually in a jet.
Yeah, I know. Okay, that was the joke. Okay.
Anyway, lots of cool stuff coming in June. Cannot wait. So, like we say, every time we're on camera with you, it's a great time to be a nerd, be a geek, and be alive. So get out there and do something geeky. And as always, come talk to us about it at CNA.
Yeah, every time.
Excelsior.
Peace.